I get the feeling I'm going to be in top split as well. Yep. So this is just going to be me tootling around at the back, basically. This video is brought to you by my social media. Follow me on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram or Facebook via the link in the description to make sure that you're always up to date and get extra content. This is like coming back down to reality this week. After last week's heroics, this is going to be carnage and terribleness and loss of everything. Well, 2:17.5 is the best I've done. My optimal's into the 16s, I suppose, so I improved there. I told you I'd be able to do the best that I could and still qualify towards the back, so it's going to be a rough race, but we're improving, I suppose.
Green, green, green. Left side. Keep to the right. Clear. Left side. Clear. Car on your left. Still there, hold your line.
Wow, he actually went for it up the inside, made it work.
Clear.
I'm just here to learn, I guess. Trying to keep it clean. I am well out of my depth right now. I just got in the grass.
Car right. Still there, hold your line. Keep to the left. Stay on the left. Clear.
Not surprised that the first place I got overtook was the last corner, but it came from a bad previous corner before that, I guess.
left side. Still there, hold your line. Clear. Car right.
Yeah, I had to compromise it a little bit too much because I didn't want to go into him, but I'm probably going to get overtaken here on the outside. I don't know. Oh, he's... Really?
Right side. Clear on the right.
You've got to be kidding me, man. It's like, it's not as if I'm suddenly disappearing. I'm still there all the way. He just, I mean, he gives me nothing. He just pinches me completely. Where does he think I'm gonna go? Yeah, that went about as expected. I had a better best lap in the end than at least 3 people. I feel like I could have stayed around that area if it hadn't have been for that. Well, that puts me second. I'm ranked second. I've qualified second. We're in second split. It's all the 2s.
Green, green, green.
Oh, we're both in Hondas. Ah, I'm in the dirt.
Car right. Still there, hold your line. Clear on the right.
Nope. Bollocks! Ah! I mean, what can you expect with like 12 laps of practice and 1 race under your belt? Oh, bloody hell. Yep. Doesn't get much worse than that, I suppose. We move on. I haven't managed to get to the end of either of the 2 races yet. My lap time's improved by 2 seconds, but it's all been for nothing, because I haven't even gotten to the end of a race. Well, we're in second split, so I guess I'm giving myself... I've been given all the opportunities to get at least somewhat of a reasonable score out of this race, out of this round. I just need to put together a race. Wow, 2:16.6. Holy moly, I really have improved by 2 seconds. I don't get pole position very often, and I don't think I've ever had a pole position with that kind of gap before. Something's clicked.
Green, green, green. Car right. Stay on the left. Still there. Stay on the left. Clear.
Whew, had to survive that.
Left side. Keep to the right. Clear.
So, hello everyone, welcome to another iRacing episode. I hope you've been enjoying it so far, and after that really tense start to this final race, I guess it was time for me to come in and do a little bit of a voiceover over the way that this round has gone. At this point in this third race, I'd survived those initial early battles. I thought I'd defended quite well in these first couple of corners, I should say, on the first lap. And as you can see in the bottom right, I'd kind of made up a decent gap where the guy in second place and those behind hadn't really maximised the last few corners. And then here, if you keep your eye on that bottom right, you'll notice second place actually drops quite far down, and he drops down the order in terms of time as well. And so I was curious at the time what had happened, but it seemed like he ended up getting a penalty by cutting the corner, that sort of corner before the long back straight, a little bit too much. The only reason he would sort of slow down like that is if he got a penalty there. So that's what I should learn from that. I should be slowing down immediately when I get penalties, but that gave me an even bigger gap going into sort of the final corner and then continuing on into the race. When you look at the track map, you can see a full line of cars all behind, but there's a big gap from me to them. So I was this was the perfect first lap really, and at this point I just kind of had to do what I felt like I could do, show the pace and the ability that I'd kind of developed over the course of the first two races, but I hadn't really had a chance to show in the races because of what had happened and crashing out and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, this was a really tricky round, this one. It was difficult, mainly because the track is difficult. I mean, I'd driven Sebring probably the last time back on, but probably talking Forza Motorsport 2 or 3 a long time ago, and it was, in touring cars it was a completely different experience, and it's a difficult track just on its own. Certainly one of the more tricky tracks that I've raced on, at least when it comes to being quick. Even though I was doing the best that I had at the end of this, and my qualifying lap was the best that I'd set, I was still a good 1.5 to 2 seconds per lap off the pace of the very top guys. Now, I give myself a little bit of a break because it is a long lap. Over 2 minutes per lap means that when it comes to doing a bit, half an hour of practice before the first race, and then all the races after that and the little bits of practice that I do for this one night. You know, I only do one night of iRacing streams a week. I'm not actually getting that many laps in. I think going into the first race I'd only actually done sort of 5 laps, just because it's such a long lap, and you know, you go out a few times, you get used to get the tires warmed up, you might crash one time, so you come back in and start all over again, and it's a lot more difficult in comparison to Donington last week, where it was sort of 1 minute lap times. You're just able to do more and more, and sort of perfect the corners a bit easier because you're doing more of them. So I just found it really difficult this week, and you saw it even in the first 2 races. I thought the first race I had a chance of, you know, sticking with that sort of pack at the bottom of the top 10 in the top split, even though I was feeling like I was off the pace. But getting crashed out, and then the second race crashing myself out, the last corner is where I really improved from the second race to this race. I kind of figured something out there that helped me get quicker. And if you notice on the bottom right, when you're looking at the timing of the guy in second place and pretty much everybody else, I make up a load of time in that last corner every single lap. It's fairly even around the rest of the lap, but then I keep consistently making up time in that last corner. And I think figuring out a way to take that, because I was really struggling with it in the first 2 races, figuring out a way to take that from the second race to the third race really helped me in this one. So yeah, it was a difficult one. It was a challenging round, and obviously the first 2 races hadn't gone very well either. The second race I never really care about from a championship points perspective, just because it's the open setup race and I'm focusing on the fixed setup championship. But yeah, it's good that it all came good in the end, and I was able to sort of rise to the challenge of what I was experiencing and put in a good performance in that final race, get a good haul of championship points. Obviously, as you might have guessed, I do end up going on to win this race. There's not an awful lot of action that happens from this point on, so I'll probably skip towards the end, and you know, you'll have my reaction live and stuff like that when I'm finished talking here. But it was just a really nice way to round off a challenging round, where I didn't let it get to me too much with the issues that I was having and the struggles that I was having to be on the pace. I just kept working at it, and ultimately I put in a good performance right at the very end, figured a few things out, and was able to drive away from the pack. So yeah, it was really nice to have that experience and have that, and get another win. You know, my second win of the season in touring cars, and I've had some good races in each of the rounds, so much so that I'm actually leading the Division 4 championship at the moment in terms of championship points, and I'm 44th overall across all the divisions. So even though that might not stick around until the end of the season, it's something that's sort of nice to see at the moment. Obviously the divisions are set based on your iRating at the start of the season, so I'm kind of in that Division 4 championship going up against everybody who had a similar iRating to me at the start of this season. And yeah, I'm leading at the moment, so that's really cool. But I will talk more about the championship and the point system and stuff like that as we get into the later rounds of this season. I'll show you where I'm at, how many points I've got, where I can improve, things like that. For now, it's just been good to have a challenging round and still get something out of it. That was very much not the case previously. And when you look at sort of a couple of rounds ago, and even last season, a couple of rounds in Daytona, I had good pace and I was putting in good performances, and I risked getting nothing out of it. I had to do that extra race. This time I've struggled a little bit, but kept at it and still being able to get a good performance. So I'm going through all the motions, I suppose, and I'm looking forward to, you know, the remainder of the season. We're halfway through the season at this point. I've done 5 rounds myself, but we're in week 6 out of 12, so there's 6 more rounds to go, 6 more chances to get some points. Your best 8 points count, so I've already got 5 out of 8 on the board, and then we'll see where we end up at the end of the season. But yeah, I'll leave you guys to watch the very last part of this race and the reaction as it happened. And I thank you guys for watching, and I hope you're continuing to enjoy the iRacing stuff. Ooh, that was a close one.
Nice work. This is the white flag lap.
That was a close one. Just gotta bring it home. One more corner to go. I've been taking it very easy on this last lap. Just want to bring it home. We did it! We did it! Yes! The Grand Slam!
Alright.
First place. Qualified first. Led every lap. You know, I'm very happy. He had a quicker lap than me. Oh, I didn't get the Grand Slam. He had the best lap. What a turnaround, I know, from the first two races. Like, I know, yeah, you can put it all into account. It's second split. It's, you know, I had a easier run of it after something happened at the start from people behind. But that one feels really satisfying. After the struggles of the first two races, the struggles of getting the hang of this track, like, to do the qualifying lap and be so far ahead in qualifying and then, you know, put it together in the race as well, that feels so satisfying when I was feeling so down on myself and like I was so far off. Completely turned it around. He didn't even have the best lap. This guy had the best lap, 2:16.10. 2:16.0 even. So, I mean, I think it was that first lap that got me the win, honestly. Just being able to keep it together and defend my position on the first lap, and then I was able to just have consistent pace. I wasn't the quickest, but after you know what, after this round and having such struggles, that feels really satisfying to get a win like that on a track that I was really struggling with. Slipstream cheats doesn't count. I suppose maybe they got the best lap from some slipstreaming, but either way, I'll absolutely take those 82 championship points and run with that.